Hey, welcome to Glow with Dr. Nicole. And this is a segment of my channel that I am dedicating to lifestyle and more specifically, my Sisterlock journey, which I am excited about and I'm excited about sharing. So do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and then take a look around. I've got wellness tips, you name it, all kinds of good stuff that's good for your mind, body, soul, and spirit to the journey. And I will see you on the inside. Hey, welcome to Glow with Dr. Nicole. I'm yours truly. And today we are going to discuss tips for the establishment process. I just recently went through this and so I'm just going to share for those who are embarking upon the journey, who are thinking of embarking upon the journey, in hopes that you might find it helpful. Okay? All right, so first thing, Sisterlocks can take a number of hours, okay? And hours and hours and hours. So my establishment took about 21 and a half over the course of 2 days. We planned for 3, did it in 2. Some Sisterlocks take longer and some take less. So how do you know? Well, like the price, it depends on like your Sisterlock consultant / loctician's expertise or their experience. It depends on location, it can depend on length of hair. It can depend on environment, those kinds of things. So all of those play a role in how long your establishment takes. And it's kind of hard for them to yes, there are some who can probably look, once they do your consultation, they look at your head and they're experiencing nothing. And we're like, okay, yeah, I could probably knock this out in this range of hours. But yeah, it can take a number of hours. So if you're about to sit in a chair for an unknown, maybe even unnatural number of hours, you need to trust the fact that you will be comfortable. So before you pack a bag, before you pack a lunch, before you travel the distance, you need to first prepare and prepare yourself mentally. Okay, because mentally it's the thing. I would get braids all the time and it might take, 6 hours, 7 hours, even when I was younger, 8 hours. But yeah, I've never sat in anybody's chair for that long. 21 and a half over the course of 2 days. Listen, all we did was go home, sleep, wake up and come back and do it again. That's never happened. So preparing yourself mentally is totally a thing. So the first piece of advice I would say is don't overthink it. And yeah, don't overthink it, but do mental prep, okay? Mentally prepare. Don't expect the worst, okay? But focus on this beautiful journey that you're about to embark upon, and it's new and exciting and it's great, right? So focus on that. You also want to give yourself grace. Let me say that again. Give yourself grace. Okay? Grace. When it comes to working while you're in the chair, the lofty ambitions that I had. I said, oh, I can knock this out. I can knock this out. I'm going to be there. I'm not going to have the kids. Oh, I can do all that stuff. I did nothing. Okay. Actually, no, I take that back. I did none of that, but I did accomplish having time to just be me, having time to just be, having time to rest, kid-free, okay? And so give yourself grace in what your expectations are for what you're going to accomplish while you're in the chair. Now, if you're getting it done and you're working remotely for those days, then you should probably try really hard to do something. But other than that, kind of give yourself grace and give yourself a buffer. Number 2 is you want to use your consultation as a gauge for what your experience will likely look like and what your environment will be. So Where you receive your consultation will likely be the same place where your establishment will take place, where you'll get your hair done. So take note of your environment. Like, how clean is your environment? What's the temperature like in your environment? How amenable is your loctician to making sure that you're comfortable, within reason? We're not talking about people who are super, super nitpicky and just anal. No. I mean, and yeah, I'm just saying, like, on a normal level, right? How drama free is your environment? That's totally a thing. How professional is your environment? So these are all things that you want to take note of. What forms of entertainment are in your environment? Do you need to bring your own, or does your consultant, loctician, do they have, TV with streaming services or whatever, where you can, watch movies or whatever to pass the time? Like, what's there? Because if you take note of all these things, then you can really evaluate what you need to bring with you. And then again, you can mentally prepare yourself for, these are things that I can do. This is a reasonable expectation. And that way, your expectations are leveraged with what's there. Third thing, professionalism is key. Okay, so even if you're not in a salon, just make sure you're comfortable in the area, and there's a clear understanding and expectation of time and how long the process will take, right? So, like I said, your Sisterlocks consultant specialist loctician, she may not be able to directly pinpoint it's going to take 24 and a half hours on the dot. Asking someone to do that might be a little unreasonable. But you go with what, their suggestion is. So they say, you know what, it should take about this long. Then you plan for that, but then always plan for a buffer around that, just in case. Anything could happen. You can have an emergency, they can have an emergency. And when I say emergency, I mean like real emergencies, not situations of drama that we stamp with emergencies. And that goes for anybody involved, okay? Anybody involved in the equation. So, but you plan for the unexpected. Okay, so what do you bring? Number one, you bring food, okay? Please bring food. And I don't mean just snacks. Don't bring a bunch of bags of chips and think you're going to be satisfied. You'll be upset, okay? And probably have a hunger headache. Bring food. Meals and snacks are essential. So the doctor in me says to pack healthy snacks, because you're just sitting there. So you're not spending any energy. You're not expending any energy. You're not moving. You are literally just sitting there. So healthy snacks are, going to work to your advantage. You want things that you can pick up with your hand, and of course, if you need to eat, then your loctician will tell you, okay, go ahead, you need to eat, go ahead. And then she'll switch to another part of the head or whatever. So that shouldn't be too bad. What did I bring? So I only brought one hot meal. So my hot meal was like spaghetti. It was easy. And I ate that for dinner one night. And I actually ended up eating it shortly before we ended for the evening. But that's just because, so I wouldn't have to worry about it when I got home. So I ate, and then we worked for a few more minutes, and then we were done. So I was like, oh, okay. So, but other than that, I had cucumber salad, I had grapes, I packed an actual salad with spinach and tomatoes and boiled egg. Oh, so good. Olive oil, salt and pepper. Okay, sorry. It's really a really good salad. So I packed the salad. That morning, my husband would get up and he would make a breakfast sandwich for me. So whether I ate at home or if he put it in a baggie and I ate it on the drive there. And plantain chips, water, I had a lemonade, so I packed lemonade. So like I packed a bunch of snacks, but I graze. I will snack. Okay, I'm a snacker. I've always been a snacker. That's what I do. So, but it helped because I would just munch. I had a whole bunch of grapes in a baggie. They're washed and everything, and I would just munch, and I put them up, and then I munch on cucumbers, and then I put it up, and then I munch on plantain chips, and I put them up, and I'll just kind of go, and I'll bob and weave between all those things, and it worked for me throughout the day. I was energized. I didn't end up with a hunger headache. I was satiated, but I was alert enough because it wasn't super heavy food. It wasn't sugars. I didn't have like a sugar rush and then crash. So it worked for me. So that's what I would advise, like healthy snacks, balanced meals, maybe one hot and others cold or room temperature, what have you. Definitely you want to have water. You want to hydrate, just because you should be hydrating anyway. So then you want to bring things to keep you busy, right? So whether that's your laptop or iPad for work or what have you, of course your phones, bring any chargers that you need, a book, read a book. So anything that can keep you busy, you can do that. Because I was still nursing, I had to remember to bring like my breast pump because Kate doesn't take a bottle, but I didn't want to have sore boobs. So I had to remember to pack or grab my breast pump bag so that I could pump. And again, a great Sisterlock specialist / lactician, they get it. They'll be like, okay, do what you need to do, or do you need to do this? So these are things that you want to look for during your consultation. How, they're interviewing you, but you're also interviewing them. But you want someone who is like invested in the journey with you, and who they don't just see you as a number or dollar signs, but they are invested in who you are and the things that are important to you. So those are key points for your consultations. And so in the end, with my experience, I loved it. It did not feel like 21 and a half hours. I will tell anyone. I was like, oh my goodness, 20 some hours. What, 3 days? What am I going to do? It did not feel like it. The days went by fairly quickly. It was nice because we vibed. So that's one thing when you're doing your consultation, you want someone who you actually like, because you're going to be spending a lot of time with this person. So we vibed, we talked, we laughed, we watched like CSI marathon, and so it was great. I snacked, I laughed, I ate, I relaxed, I enjoyed my time being kid-free, and it was wonderful. And then in between that, I would ask questions. I would, oh, okay, what are you doing now? Or, what do I do with this? Or what do I do with that? So it was a wonderful experience. The one thing I could say, like, if there were a con, would be like my body felt like it was a wreck, but it was a wreck before I started. So I need adjustment. It was a wreck. Okay. I was like, yeah. So I was sitting in one place, even as I shifted. It was what it was. I did bring comfy socks. So I took off my boots. I put on my comfy socks on top of my regular socks. And not that I walked around without shoes, because I didn't, but it was just nice just to be comfortable in the chair with the nice fuzzy socks that you wear during the winter. Yeah, those. So I had a little bit of a stiff neck, a little bit of a sore scalp at the end, but I've got some inflammation that I have to address with my vitamins and stuff. So that's probably why my scalp was a bit sore. It still is in some parts. But other than that, that's it. The experience should be a positive one, and it should be pleasant. So again, when you are looking and when you're going for your consultations, make sure you are paying attention to things. Make sure you're paying attention to how this person responds and interacts with others in their environment, how professional they are, how timely they are. All of those things matter, because if you don't make if you make a judgment based on how much something costs, nothing is more valuable than your time. So I look at things that is going to give me a return on my investment with my time. And most times, sometimes that may cost a little bit more. And for me, it's worth it. And for you, you know, you might be like, listen, time, I got it. Listen, I don't care about any of that. And that's fine. But just thought I'd share. So those are my tips for your establishment days, plural. I'm excited for your process. I would love for you to tell me, like, what your establishment day was like, or if you loved it, if you didn't. And better yet, if you are planning on venturing out and doing this, then, what kind of things were important to you. Just curious. Would love to know. But anyway, that's all I have. So, love and blessings. Go have a great day. Have a great evening. And I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Toodles.